Hi. I'm going to call the zoning board of adjustment to order at 7:37. Call to order and statement of compliance. Adequate notice of this hearings has been provided by posting a copy of the public meeting/hearing dates on the municipal bulletin board, by sending a copy to the Echo Sentinel, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. Standard board procedures. Any meeting/hearing conducted by the board is a quasi-judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision. And decorum appropriate to a judicial meeting/hearing must be maintained at all times. Meeting cutoff. Announcement is made that as a matter of procedure, it is the intention of the zoning board of adjustment not to continue any matter past 10:30 p.m. in any regular or special meeting/hearing by the board unless a motion is passed by the members then present to extend the meeting/hearing to a later specified cutoff time. Electronic devices. All in attendance are asked and requested to take their phone out, put it on mute, so we don't disturb the electronic devices as to not interrupt the proceedings. So take your phone and put it on mute. Pledge of allegiance. Tom, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Aronio.
Here.
Mr. Giannakis is absent this evening. Mr. Rosenberg is currently...
He's excused. He did email he wasn't coming.
Okay,
He CC'd you on it.
right. We didn't give a reason, so I thought you...
Oh, no, as long as he emails ahead of time.
Okay, you're saying, okay. Excuse. Mr. Rosenberg is currently on a train. We don't know if he'll make it, so he's currently absent.
Yes.
Mr. Watts,
Here.
Mr. Zadrozny,
Here.
Mr. White is excused. Vice Chairman Grosskopf,
Here.
Chairman Grect,
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Great. Okay, so we can do our resolutions. Yeah, the resolution of the Board of Adjustment, Township of Long Hill, Morris County, New Jersey. The resolution for 1057 Valley Road, Ray, LLC, located at 1057 Valley Road, Sterling, New Jersey, Block 10515, Lot 4. Application number 25-01Z. The hearing dates were March 4th and 18th of 2025. The board action was on March 18th, 2025, and the memorialization of this resolution will be May 6th, 2025. Has everybody had a chance to look at the resolution?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any comments, corrections to it? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf,
Yes.
Mr. Zadrozny,
Yes.
Mr. Watts,
Yes.
Chairman Grect,
Yes.
motion carries.
Alrighty. And now we have the next resolution. It's Salvatore Savata at 439 Morris Street, Sterling, New Jersey, block
Yeah,
one.
correct you on say Mercer Street.
What?
It's Mercer, not Morris.
Oh, I did say Morris, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm reading Mercer, and I said, I'm sorry, you're right.
Those candies are
439
kicking in.
Mercer Street, right. Sterling, New Jersey, block 11701, lot 9, application number 25-04Z. Hearing date was April 15th, 2025. The board action was April 15th, 2025, and memorialization will be today, May 6th, 2025. Has everyone had a chance to look at this resolution? Any comments or corrections or anything else? No? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to move this resolution?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Watts,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf,
Yes.
Mr. Aronio,
Yes.
Mr. Zadrozny,
Yes.
Chairman Grect,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay. Okay, would you pass these up? I signed these.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now, the next action we have is an application. It's a use variance, certificate of non-conforming use. It's a D1 variance, block 13905, lot 2, in the zone R4. The address is 201-203 Hickory Tavern Road, application number 25-07Z. Matthew Risberg, applicant is requesting to formally authorize and sanction the continuing existence and occupancy of two single-family dwelling units on one lot. I see the applicant is here with his attorney.
Mr. Chairman, while they're getting situated, I'll just point out for the record, I did review their notice. I find it to be sufficient, both in terms of its content and timeliness of service, sent to owners of property within 200 feet on April 17th, and then also published in the Echo Sentinel on April 24th, both more than 10 days in advance of tonight's hearing.
Okay. All right. Mr. Zelli, would you care to,
Good evening. For the record, Frederick Zelli, Post Pollock, on behalf of the applicant. Good evening, Mr. Chair, board members, board professionals. Doing counting as I go.
professional?
Well, no, Chris does count. I always forget the layers.
Yeah,
It's
right,
up
right.
there.
I'm sort of a
I always
professional.
forget my own.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I forget to.
Deb's also a professional. Come on.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so, Mr. Chair, you have 5 members now, if I'm
Yes.
counting correctly.
Yes.
This will be a D1.
Okay.
I don't know how close on the train the other member may be.
Well, I would say go ahead and start presenting your information because we don't anticipate him being here anytime soon.
Okay.
If you wish to carry the vote, you can. If you don't wish to carry the vote, we'll see how it goes. But at least if you start putting and if you do wish to carry the vote, he can always watch it on TV.
Okay. And I did ask Mr. Sobieski if a straw poll could be done prior to making that decision. I think we've done that before.
Sure, well, we always deliberate, so you can tell from that.
All right, so this is for 201-203 Hickory Tavern Road. It's at the corner of Home Street. It is block 13905, lot 2, located in your R4 residential zone. I'm going to give a little longer opening than normal just to kind of bring everybody up to speed, both factually and procedurally. And then we're going to have a surprise witness, and then the applicant's going to speak. So
Okay, I
how
like
tonight's going to
surprises.
go. Subject property is a corner lot located at the southwest corner of Hickory Tavern Road and Home Street in the Myersville section of the township. Originally comprised of lots 2 and 14, but those lots were formally merged by a deed in 1986, with Lot 2 designation surviving the merger. The property hosts 2 single-family residences, a detached garage, and an accessory shed/workshop. The larger of the 2 residences, and presumably the original of the 2, is a 1.5-story, 2-bedroom cottage facing Home Street. Features a basement-level single-car garage. When I reference the cottage, it's the larger home I'm referring to. The other residence is a single-story, 1-bedroom ranch facing Hickory Tavern Road with a detached garage situated immediately in front of it. I'll refer to that as the ranch. Both garages are accessed from a shared driveway coming off of Hickory Tavern Road. The applicant believes the cottage was constructed in or about 1925, based upon newspapers from that year having been found beneath the floorboards of the home, and gypsum wallboards having labels bearing patent dates ranging from 1912 to 1921. Township records, specifically the construction department's permit card, which you have in the packet, reflect the following information pertinent to this application. A toilet was installed presumably in the cottage in 1937. A sun porch was added again presumably in the cottage in 1941. Chicken coop was constructed in 1942, and a dwelling addition was constructed in 1954, and that was to the ranch. And we know that because we have a picture you'll see in the packet of a date actually constructed on the foundation. The applicant will testify there are 2 clear sections of that building, despite being a small building, and you can tell by the foundation and whatnot that one is significantly newer than the other, and that's the one that has the date actually put into the concrete. We're unclear whether the chicken coop was constructed in 1942, was converted into what is now the ranch, or if it is what is now the workshop. Our surprise witness may or may not be able to address that question, but I will ask him at the time. Regardless, it was apparently a lawful residence as of 1954, because you'll see that your construction card indicates that the addition was to a dwelling. So clearly, the town at the time considered that building to be a dwelling already, and was expanded in 1954. We've confirmed both residences have been occupied by tenants. From 1985 to 2019, both were occupied by tenants. Prior to that time, the occupants or the owners occupied the main house, the cottage, and did lease out the ranch. As you know, this application was originally filed as an application for a certificate of nonconformity brought pursuant to NJSA 4055D-68 to formally authorize and sanction the continued existence and occupancy of two single-family dwellings on one lot, which is otherwise not permitted in the R4 zone, and for the continued rental of one or both of those units. At the suggestion of your professionals, we've also noticed for a D1 use variance. Having done so, and upon further reflection upon the proofs required for the certificate, we actually believe that D1 is the more appropriate relief, and so we are shifting to that this evening. Additionally, with the granting of a D1, a future application to the board can be avoided, and that application would have been a D2 use variance for expanding the nonconforming use if we had been given the certificate. The applicant, as part of an ongoing construction project, is creating a not large room, but a large enough room to be a bedroom on the second floor, but that presumably would be considered an expansion of a nonconforming use if we just had the certificate, and then you'd have to be back here for a D2. So I've conferred with your counsel, I think, and your planner. I think everyone's in agreement that the D1 can encompass that relief tonight. So we're going to ask for a D1 allowing three things. One is to continue to have two single-family residences on one lot, to continue to rent one or both of those, and to be able to have a third bedroom on the property. Also, just a matter of housekeeping, unless Ms. Lady tells me there's a reason I'm wrong on this, I think it would be a good idea to have a bulk variance granted for a vertical exacerbation of the home street front yard setback, since we're going up and we're well in violation of that, where it's 19 and change feet when 50 is required. So we'll talk about the expansion that's being done. It's solely within the footprint of the home. There's nothing going out, but we are going up in that one spot. Before I call the surprise witness, does anybody have any questions for me?
Yeah, Mr. Zelli, I was a little surprised about your bedroom. There's no plans for it or anything. Do we have a floor
We're going to
plan?
go through.
Oh, we do
rough
have, you do
concept.
have
Yep,
something,
we'll
okay.
bring something.
Because that was not really,
No, because it had no relevance whatsoever to a certificate of nonconformity.
fine.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Zelli, could you just explain for me, at one point, I think in your explanation, you were saying that there were some, I guess, approvals by the town for the second,
Construction approvals. Right.
so the town approved construction to the accessory unit, that we'll call that the garage apartment, rather than
Well,
the
to the second dwelling, correct?
second dwelling.
Yeah, what I'm calling the ranch, just to
Okay.
keep it clear.
Okay, and then the house that faces Home Street, I guess,
That's the cottage.
that's the cottage, and behind it is the ranch?
Correct.
Okay.
And we'll go over some photographs to make that clear as well.
So just to be clear, are both units approved by the town in historical documents?
Except to the extent that I described.
That's what,
Or
that was.
that,
that's what I'm
the
trying to
extent
ask
to
you.
what I've described is the extent that we've been able to find.
Okay.
You know, we did the OPA request, we've gone back through the ordinances. Unfortunately, the ordinances that are available only go back to the 1950s. Your ordinance, we believe, probably goes back to the late 30s. So that's one of the reasons for
So
the shift.
I'll just change the question.
Okay, sure.
Are there documents that the town has on file that show both of those structures as approved units on one lot?
No.
Okay.
If that existed, we wouldn't be here at all.
That's what I'm asking
Yeah,
about.
that's right.
That's
Yeah.
because I thought you were alluding to that in your
No,
explanation.
just permits that reference thing. If you look at the card, which is part of your packet, you'll see that it mentions addition to a dwelling in 1954.
Okay.
So, you know, we're going by as much as we have, which is pretty much that one card, unfortunately.
And your argument is if there was a problem with that, they should not or would not have approved the,
Yeah, so the way this all came about, which happens in every town, and it's perfectly legitimate, is when something goes across construction or zoning's desk, they look at it and say, well, there's a condition on this site that, as far as we know, does not have any, you know, actual
Yes,
formal
yeah.
approval for, so go get it now. And that's why we're here. But we're you know, in the position of having to go with what we can find, and that's all we could find so far was that one. Now, as you know, this town has lost a lot of records in a flood years ago, and it's entirely possible that there was something, but it wasn't able to be found.
And when did your client purchase the property?
I will have him testify to that. I'm only saying it that way because he's not under oath yet.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, why don't
The
we
deed,
swear
the deed
in?
is in your packet.
I'm looking through it right now.
Why don't we swear in everyone that's gonna testify? Everyone who's gonna testify, stand up.
All right, surprise witness, Mr. Keelblock, would you come up here and be sworn in also?
Yeah. Give him a second.
Actually, we can bring this over to here for you.
Okay.
Okay, if all three of you could just raise your right hands for me. Do all three of you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, great. Mr. Zeller, before we go any further, just so what for us all to keep in mind as we're going forward, you're not requesting the certificate of nonconforming use, you're not requesting the D2, you're just requesting the D1 of the bulk.
Correct.
Okay, understood.
Subject only to the board saying that you're not getting a D1, so you might want to look for one of the other two.
Okay,
I
understood.
don't think it's going to go in that direction.
I got you. Okay, that's all I had. Thank
So
you.
you wanna proceed with your surprise witness?
Surprise witness, would you identify yourself, please?
Fritz Keelblock.
Speak into the mic, because it has to be on the record. Thank you.
Fritz Keelblock, 183 Myersville Road. I used to live at 24 Home Street, which is neighboring his property. My parents bought the property back in '86, I believe. And at that point, there was a rental on it. That's what helped them pay to buy the property. It was the income coming in.
And when you
Now-
say at that point, you're referring to the prior owners?
Yes.
They had a
the-
rental, so at that point, we've referred to the cottage, you understand the cottage is a two-story facing Home Street versus the ranch, which is the one behind it facing, just so we're on the same page as what we're talking about, okay?
Right. Mrs. Riss lived in the main house,
Okay.
which was on the corner of Hickory Tavern and Home Street, the main house. And then the Ingalls lived in the ranch, as you
That-
call it.
And you said the Ingalls, that was a couple, just two
That was
people?
George and Ida Ingalls,
Okay.
yes.
And how long is, just for a little bit of historic background, how long has your family been in Long Hill Township, Passaic Township, Myersville section specifically?
My grandparents built their house on 183 Myersville Road in 1924.
1920.
My father grew up with the Riss family.
So he knew them personally and then purchased their home ultimately?
Yes.
And do you know, just have recollection of anything regarding this lot as to who lived there or what buildings were utilized even before your parents bought it? Do you have memories to that
It was
effect?
just Mrs. Rist. And as far as I know, the Ingalls in there.
I remember you telling me about someone being a general store. Was that the Ingalls or?
Yes.
Okay. And where was the general store?
I believe it was the one where Casamaya is right now.
And you indicated that the Ingalls lived in what we're calling the ranch.
Yes.
And the Riss themselves lived in the main house.
Yes.
And then when your parents purchased it in, I think the deed says 85, did they ever actually live in either of the dwellings?
They did not.
Did they rent them both out?
Yes.
And do you remember to whom by general terms, or
Uh,
did the Ingalls stay there?
the Ingalls were in the ranch. They were there for many years. And there was just people in and out of the bigger house. I remember one guy was a teacher with Del Barton.
And fair to say that during your parents' entire ownership from 1985 until you can testify now, 2019, when the applicant purchased it, you were an adult throughout that period?
Yes.
Did you, and you had general knowledge of what was going on at your parents' property?
Yes.
To your knowledge, were there ever any incidents arising from the fact that you had two families in close proximity on one lot?
No.
Just for background, it's not directly relevant to the application, but at one point in time, there were two lots there that were merged by your parents. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
There was actually 4 lots that they bought. The main house and the ranch and the chicken coop, or tool shed now. Then there was a 50-foot lot up the hill, and then there was 3 more 50-foot lots,
Okay.
50 by 200-foot lots.
But these two, they formally merged.
Yes.
Okay.
I
And you
think-
just touched on the other thing I knew I wanted to ask you about. The chicken coop. Is that what's now the accessory building, the tool shed, as opposed to the ranch?
Yes.
And you have personal knowledge and recollection of that?
I removed the chicken coops out of the center of it.
That's pretty good personal knowledge. And it's now
That
basically...
was prior to my parents buying it.
Oh, you did that for the Riss?
Yes, we did that for Mrs. Rist. We even jacked it up.
And then did what with it?
Nothing.
So she didn't convert it into a workshop or anything in particular? or-
No. At that point, it was just mostly storage. Was her house furniture and stuff.
Okay. All right. I thank you very much for coming out and joining
Well,
us.
the
I don't know if the
board
board has some questions, but
I have a question. We noticed that there was a date on part of the foundation in the pictures. Did he see the pictures?
I don't know if you see the pictures, but I can show it to him.
Yeah, there's a
We
date,
might wanna
there's an
start with
electric
this,
socket,
though.
and then there's a 1954 date. Do you recall that, anything in 1954 being done, and
I do not.
you do not? Okay.
I wasn't born yet.
Just asked.
I know.
Or did somebody tell you, or did you come to know? Did you, okay.
My father might have mentioned something, but I don't remember.
Okay. Throughout the time that your parents owned it, do you recall them having any interaction with the town regarding this property? For any
Just-
reason?
I believe just when they did the sewer hookup.
And they hooked up both buildings?
Yes.
And, okay. That was when the town owned the sewer, right?
Yes.
And the town went ahead and hooked up both buildings, and there was nothing said about the fact there was two houses on there?
No.
Did your parents have any other construction or any other interaction with the town dealing with either one of those buildings?
I believe no.
Okay. Any other
I'd
questions?
like to ask a follow-up on your
Sure.
question there. Regarding the sewers, was that part of, I think it was the late 1970s, that part of the town was sewered? Was that
Yes.
when they did that? So that was part of that connection there? And then is there one connection to this town sewer systems, or are there two?
There are two.
There are two. Each house has its own sewer connection?
Yes.
And each house has a separate sewer bill?
I believe so, yes.
And the other utilities are billed separately?
Well, the applicant will be able to tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for this witness?
Might not be a question for you, it might be to be saved for later. Mr. Zelli, you brought up the fact that there was a third bedroom in question.
Right.
Do we know when that was added, or?
No,
It hasn't been, we're asking for permission to add it.
Requesting,
Right.
okay. I thought you had said there was.
Something tells me that's why we're here, because of the construction, right?
Because of the construction, that's
Yeah,
correct.
that's-
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just to be sure.
Any other questions for this witness? Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. You have any more questions? Mrs. Zinn?
Not for Mr. Kilby.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you again.
stick around because there might be one, so.
You never know.
Check public, just to be sure.
Yes, I see that there, other than Fritz Keelblock, there's another gentleman.
Who is the
and-
applicant's father?
Fine, so
He's with
there,
us.
as far as I know, there was no there's no other non-related interested member of the public present, so we will close it to any questions from the public. All right, proceed.
Okay. Sir, could you
Yeah.
identify yourself for the record,
My name
please?
is Matthew Risberg. I'm the owner of this property.
Since when?
2019, November I moved in.
And-
October 29th on the deed that you referred me to.
October
Oh,
29th and 19th?
2019.
Yes.
Okay. And where do you physically, well, first of all, do you physically reside on the property?
Yeah, yes, I live at address 203. The structure he refers to as the ranch. Looking from Hickory Tavern towards the property, it's the house on the right, the one-story house with the garage in front.
And they've already heard that some renovations have been started. Which building are those being made to?
They're being done to 201, the house on the left,
And so,
on the corner of Home Street and Hickory Tavern.
just to clarify this a little more, I'm going to show you a packet of photographs that the board does have in their possession. It's in the exact same
Okay.
order. What I'm going to ask you to do is, one by one, tell the board what's shown in that photograph, and please confirm that it still accurately portrays what it would look like today.
Okay, so right here, your vantage point is Hickory Tavern Road looking up the hill towards Home Street. The house on the left has the address 201. The house on the right, which I live in, has the address 203. If you were to drive by it today, it wouldn't look too much different. You would see replacement windows installed in the house on the left, that's 201. But beyond that, nothing structural. So from the outside, you wouldn't see anything different.
Next, go to the next picture.
Next, all right, that's looking at address 201, the main house from Home Street, looking at the side elevation, of which there's, I guess you could call it the main entry to the house. The front door is facing Home Street counterintuitively, even though the address is 201 Hickory Tavern Road. So you're looking at the side elevation of the house, where there's a gravel driveway and the backyard.
All right, next photo.
Next. Again, you're looking at 201 there. That's the larger of the two houses. And you're looking at it from the, opposing elevation view. 180 degrees away. You're looking at this house from the point of view, you would see it walking out of the house I live in. Perhaps a little bit closer.
Well, from the Home Street perspective, it would be the back of the house. Would that be fair? to
So
say?
you're seeing it from the back, yeah.
Side back.
Diagonal,
Yeah.
yeah. Matter of perspective, I suppose. So that's what you see there.
How many entrance doors does it have?
So it has an entrance door on Home Street. That would be, I guess you could say, the main entrance. It has an entry door in the back. That's in that photo. That's the door on the right, to the right of the Bilko door. You have an entryway to the basement with the Bilko door. And then you have on the left of that house, that's a door exiting to a balcony over the garage structure.
Okay.
So there's 3, or you could say 4 ways into the house.
Well, the balcony is not accessible from the
Yeah,
ground, is it?
no, it's not accessible from the ground. Okay.
And sir, sorry to interrupt, where you were just pointing there, is there a patio in that area? Because I'm looking at the kind of the surveying map, trying to orient myself with the pictures.
Right, so you're looking at this.
No, let's look at the actual survey.
Okay.
It looks like there's a shaded gray area that says patio.
So that would be coming out this back door.
Okay.
This image would be walking out this door to the back of the house.
And that's the patio
That's
area?
the patio. It's like a
Okay.
blue stone impromptu
Gotcha.
patio.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm oriented now, thank you.
Next photo.
All right, so next photo, you're looking, let's say, westwards. That's the sun setting in the west in the background. You're looking down the hill from Home Street across the backyard, which, as they discussed, was 2 lots adjoined in the past. So that's the backyard.
So
That's
that
what you see.
open area in that photograph is part of the property.
Yes, correct.
And since we
And
did,
also in the background there, you see the accessory shed, the former chicken coop. So that's what you see in the distance here, that white building.
okay, next photo.
All right. Right, what you see there, that's the house I live in, 203, the ranch house, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom house. And downhill from there is the outbuilding, accessory building, whatever you like to call it.
And what do you use with the former chicken coop? What do you use
Uh,
that for?
Tool storage, workshop.
Like a shed? like
Yeah,
you
it's a
call it,
shed. Yeah. Okay.
You don't keep chickens anymore.
No, I
No
don't want to. All right, so right here is the back of the house, 203, one I live in. On the left, towards the background, you can see the back of the garage that's in front of that house. So
Just to be clear, that is an actual detached garage. It's
det-
very close to your house, right?
It's a detached garage. Yes, very close to my house. Very close to the front of my house.
What is that pipe sticking out of the ground?
That's an issue with the gutter. Since I have to cut it down flush, I had some grading and drainage issues with water intrusion in my basement. So, I've added topsoil or like fill dirt to that to prevent water from rushing down and
Is
flooding.
that a
my
dry
basement.
well clean out?
No,
No?
no.
So that pipe is meant to do what? The PVC pipe? Looks like PVC.
Yeah, it's PVC.
Are your leaders going into that eventually?
No, they're I'm not even sure, to be honest, at this point. It's being capped. It's being capped. Yes, so
Did you install drainage in that area?
I added topsoil, fill dirt to promote water draining away from the basement, away from the house.
And were pipes installed in the ground?
I dug a pipe up and am capping it.
Did you put that pipe there?
No, it was a rotten cast iron pipe I found in the ground.
No, this
This PVC he's referring to.
Yeah, I did.
You put that?
I did.
But you don't know what it's for?
It's capping off a leader. A gutter was draining into this. A gutter was connected. It looked like an ancient cast iron pipe was tied into another pipe. So
So it was an underground drainage, but it didn't work?
Didn't
What you're
work.
saying, Okay. But how is this fixing it? Is this fixing it or just capping it?
I'm just capping it.
Oh, okay.
Because as
But-
I was dealing with that, I found a cast iron pipe, which apparently
So now your downspouts go to grade level?
they're just going to grade level and
Okay,
draining away.
and away from the house?
Yes, away from the house.
Next photo?
All right, that is shed, workshop.
And next photo?
That is the west side foundation wall of 203, the house I live in. Right here, took a photo of this just to show, some evidence that it was built in 1954.
I'm glad you said that.
Perhaps.
For the record, I took all of these photographs
Yes,
about
he
2 months ago.
he took all these photographs.
Approximately when were the photographs taken?
In early March.
Yeah, March.
Of this year?
Of this year.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Welcome.
And
Now,
the
just
next
from
picture?
your observations and living in the ranch, is it visible to you or obvious to you that there's two sections of that building that built at separate, different times?
Yeah, so if you go into the basement, you can see like two structural footprints. Like you can see one type of block, and then you can tell that there was a deeper grade dug and a different footing poured for another section of the house with different types of block and different framing members. And you can see that the roof was conjoined at the top because it's slightly disjointed and settled at a slightly different rate. So, to my knowledge, I'm not a structural engineer, it looks like a different structure.
How many rooms in this?
How many rooms? One bedroom, one living room, one little kitchen, and a bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Based upon your observations and the differences in the foundation, the structure, is the foundation where this 1954 is etched in, is that on the newer section?
That's on the newer section, yeah. That's on the side where the bathroom is. Yes.
And you've actually personally seen the construction card that we've submitted, right?
Yes.
And is that consistent then with the addition to the dwelling mentioned in that card, 1954?
Sounds right to me, yes.
Consistent that they both say 1954?
Consistent in the description to the extent that there's a description there, yes. and then it has the same year.
I got you, counsel. Thank you.
We're lucky if we get 2 or 3 words off of that card.
Fair
All
enough.
right, next picture.
All right, so this picture was found behind the wall of the kitchen, which I demolished in,
In which
in
house?
house 201. That's the larger house.
Cottage, right.
Yeah. So, Mr. Zelli here was asking, you know, what sort of, documentation can you find that shows when this house was built? And this was right after I did like complete demolition of the kitchen. I said, oh shoot, we lifted up the floor, the wood flooring, which was bad, and underneath it, the floor layers must have laid newspaper, like periodicals of their day. So you could see the classifieds of like 1925, I believe, and, all the news of the day and who was hiring and what was going on. But I was like, oh, interesting. I guess they, everybody read the paper back then. So,
Yeah.
might as
So
well.
they used it as
That's
insulation.
their underlayment. Yeah, that's what they did. So, 1920. I guess they laid that floor in 1925. But this shows that the sheetrock or plasterboard, or whatever this may be, was patented. Let's see, it's on here somewhere. Going back, starting in 1912 and going up to 1921.
Right, so that's in line with 1925.
Yeah. It just shows it's in that era, roughly speaking. Okay.
Is that the last photo?
What's that?
Is that the last photo?
Yeah, that's the last photo.
All right.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
Now, we're gonna show now. Just, I'm going to mark as an exhibit a 3-sheet compilation dealing with the renovation that's going on. As I said, this wasn't relevant when it was simply a certificate of nonconformity application. Now it is relevant, so we want to give the board some indication of what you're doing, certainly as to the
So you can mark that A1?
so we're gonna mark this as A1. I will tell you the stapling is a little weird because the way the machine copies a 11 by 17 sometimes is a little weird. 5, 6, 25.
It's dated today, Phil?
I'm sorry?
We're dating that today?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
You want to give the marked copy to them and
I'll give the marked copy to Mr. Sobieski.
then, whoever.
Bring me the copy. Yes.
Tell me that.
Oh, sure.
No, here's enough for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So this is what we're marking as A1 for identification.
3 pages, right?
Consisting of 3 pages.
You're just bumping out the back or whatever side you want to call it.
Yes.
On the second story. So let's do this. First, let's just go through these 3 pages and tell them what they're seeing, and then we'll kind of compare them a little bit to the photographs. So just for starters, if you would, take a look at A1 and the first sheet in particular. Explain to the board what it is they're looking at on the first sheet.
In regards to what I'm proposing to do, or just
Just literally
everything?
what it shows.
Okay.
Just literally what
alright.
it shows.
So, this plan view here, you're looking obviously down at the property. Northwards, you're seeing Hickory Tavern Road. On the east side, you're seeing Home Street. The, as specified, existing 1.5-story frame dwelling is the house I'm proposing work on. The work is just bumping out the second floor over the existing footprint of the first floor in that hashed block where it says proposed second floor addition over existing footprint. So what you see is what you get there.
And just while we have that sheet looking to the west, it does show the other 2 buildings as well? Is that-
Yes, so to the west, you see the ranch house, the house I live in, the detached garage, and cut off due to the scanning issues would be the shed.
Next sheet?
And Just to answer the question you had, was this requesting existing patio?
Yeah.
Just to confirm your question, yeah, so that was looking out the back door where it says existing patio.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
again.
problem. Okay. So, second floor plan view. Right here, in the center, the area where the heavy line weights begin. In front of that, where it says existing roof below, is the existing roof on the first floor, facing out towards Hickory Tavern Road. Nothing's being done there. The proposed work is gonna go at the back over the footprint of the first floor. And, it's gonna consist of a bathroom, corridor, and a storage room.
Now, we're asking the board tonight, if they would, to grant us relief in order to change that room into a third bedroom, is that correct?
Yes.
The so-called storage room?
So what's labeled here as a
Yes.
storage room, that's the room we're asking to be able to convert into, or construct as a bedroom rather than as a storage room.
Okay. But that is new construction. So both the bathroom and this room that now you want a bedroom is the new construction?
Yeah,
What's existing is the stairwell and those two other existing bedrooms?
yes, that's all that existed there.
Okay.
So right now, there's no bathroom at all upstairs.
There's no
just two
bathroom, no
bedrooms.
bedroom. There's 2 bedrooms in the house and 1 bathroom on the first floor.
Right,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
And while you're on that sheet,
Right.
looking to the bottom right, obviously the addition is a rectangle, the short end, that is facing Home Street, correct?
This short end is
Right.
facing Home Street, correct? Yes.
So the longer end is facing the empty portion of your lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
All right. Onto the elevation view from the vantage point of Home Street.
Third sheet of A1.
So basically, the proposed work is the plane facing out towards the left, which breaks off from, I guess you could call it like a mansard style roof, going back. So that's going from north to south over the first floor within the footprint of the existing foundation.
And I'm going to
So you would be seeing that wall that you're facing would be the proposed third bedroom.
With the bathroom.
And the bathroom. Yeah, that window would be going to the bedroom. Beyond that would be corridor and a bathroom.
I'm going to show you the second photograph in the packet that you testified to before. Would this correlate with the third sheet of A1?
Yes, yeah, so this syncs up with that. This image here
Right.
correlates
So
to
you're
this.
filling in that empty space. above
Yes,
that.
exactly.
Can you just show us the photo on this side? We weren't able to see it, the angle you had. Thank
Right
you.
here.
This
All
one.
right, thank you.
Sure, no problem.
So in the
That's-
photograph, the addition is going to be second level to the left of the chimney.
Correct, yep. And the chimney's gonna be removed.
Oh, the chimney's being removed?
Chimney is being removed.
What is that chimney for? Just a fireplace, or,
Going to a boiler.
well, what are you gonna use as a chimney for that boiler then?
How are you hitting the house?
It's going to be upgraded to HVAC from
Oh, with no need for a chimney?
no need.
Okay, all
It's
right,
going to be high efficiency.
Yes,
okay. So it's gonna be heating, cooling unit all in one?
yes,
Okay. And it's gonna have a vent, but not a chimney?
right.
Okay.
So that just very, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't see any plans for the first floor. Can you just confirm that there are no bedrooms on the first floor?
There's no bedrooms on the first floor.
What is on the first floor?
Yeah, just
side?
tell us
What's on
the
the first
and
floor?
basement levels.
So there's, if you were to walk in the back door, there'd be there's a kitchen, a small eating area, a small windowless bathroom, a dining room, an office, and a front room.
So like a living room?
Yeah, a living room. Yeah, depends with how you want to use it.
How big are these rooms? I'm not talking real big, right?
No, they're not very big.
Are you doing the construction yourself?
No,
No?
not all of it at
Are
least.
you a builder?
No,
No.
I do construction, but I'm not a builder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or is it fair to say you and your dad are kind of GCing it though yourself?
Yes, yeah, we're managing it ourselves. Yeah.
What is your plans? Are you gonna move into that house? You're gonna rent
Yes,
it?
most likely.
So you're gonna move into the bigger one and rent the
Plan,
little one?
yeah.
And then once you move in, you're asking the board for permission to be able to continue to rent out the ranch at that point?
Yes,
And technically, although that might not be your plans now, still to have permission to be able to rent out both if that were in the plans down the road.
correct.
Is anyone currently occupying the cottage house?
The larger house?
Yeah, the one
No,
top. Okay,
no. Nobody's living there.
It's not inhabitable right
It's
now
not habitable.
because of the construction.
gotcha.
Right, you tore apart the kitchen, I assume.
Yeah,
Since we have a picture of the US gypsum.
Right. Any changes to the outside of the building proposed? Other than getting
the
rid of that
replacement
chimney?
windows, no changes to the siding.
No, I mean to the grounds around it. Your sidewalk's gonna stay the same, your stairs, your patios, all that's gonna stay the same?
Nothing is changing from what you see in the images here, no.
Okay, all right. Just making sure, I just
Is
asked.
that,
You got it.
is the driveway on the second photo gonna stay gravel, or what's your,
Well,
or at least for the time being?
for the time being, it's gonna stay gravel. I'd like to pave it eventually. Yeah.
Now's the time, guys. Save yourself money. Ask now.
What's that?
Save yourself some money. Ask for it now.
Now.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have to do it right away, but.
Sure, I mean, the plan is to pave the driveway, yes.
The whole driveway.
Yes.
Well, just up to here, right?
But they're not in the lot coverage calculations right now, is that what you're talking about?
Well, there's
it should still
stone,
be,
they
right?
should still be.
Yeah,
So what's the difference then? Why are we asking?
I don't think, I don't know if he wouldn't even need
If he
permission.
doesn't need it, then it's fine.
Okay, no,
yeah, just be, as long as he's building the same footprint.
I was just wondering why Tom was asking.
I was just gonna wonder that too. But,
Bear in mind on this lot, because it's not
Pretty
technically a double lot, but you've got that entire vacant half.
yeah,
So coverages,
So-
we're only at 13.6 when 25 is allowed, so.
and you counted in the stone driveway as coverage, I assume.
I believe that's included, but even if it weren't,
Okay.
it'd still be nowhere near.
I know, I'm just wondering.
Is it like 6/10 of an acre or something like that, or is that even? That's from memory, I don't know, I read that somewhere.
Yeah, it's 38,000 square feet, so maybe even more than that.
37.7.
Okay.
37,689 if you really want to get granular.
Oh, I hear 38.
That changes everything.
So it's not quite double, it's not quite a double lot. Lot area in this zone is 20,000 square feet, so we're just a little bit under that.
Right, it's shy of a double lot,
Yeah.
right?
All right, I think we've covered everything that we need to.
As for the exterior of your bump out for lack of a better term, it's going to match what you have currently on the building, or is it's gonna
Are
be
you gonna
complementary?
side the whole thing over?
I try and tie in aluminum siding to match it.
Okay.
Is that what's there now, aluminum?
It's aluminum siding, yeah.
They still make aluminum siding?
They do.
Yeah, I think you
Do they?
still can get it.
Yeah, you can still get it. Either that or re-side it all contiguously.
Either way,
Yeah, yeah.
visually, you're gonna make it
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same. You're
It's
not
not
make
doing
it
a different
look
color or
uniform.
It's
something
not
like
gonna
that. It's
be
gonna be
like
uniform.
blue
Right.
stucco. It's gonna all match, yeah. Yeah.
And you're gonna have leaders on this roof for the new addition, coming down to?
Yes, would be leaders.
Going out to grade?
Yes.
Another question about, when you purchased it, did you know that it was challenged in this way? Did you think there was anything odd about two houses on one lot?
I thought it was interesting that there were two houses on one
Yeah.
lot.
But as far
It's
as
appealing to
conforming
me,
use,
yeah.
You didn't consider that?
What's that?
You didn't consider that it was a non-conforming property?
I did consider, I considered it to be an appealing property for me to
Okay.
buy.
But you didn't
That's
know
why I
that-
bought it.
Yeah.
But you had no idea about the legal status of it?
Not the
at time.
depths of it, no.
And then-
No.
Did you
As a
consider,
novice.
yeah, then did you consider drawing a line and then try to separate them? Was that discussed with your attorney or anyone else? Was that considered?
Well-
We've gone over a couple different plans that's possible.
What's wrong with that? I mean, I just wanna know. It doesn't work?
It's just multiple variance relief at this point.
Okay.
It's still something that they could do in the future.
I mean, well, one lot would be undersized then.
One lot would
Right.
definitely be undersized.
Yeah.
That's
Or two?
Yeah.
You could wind up.
Well, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do one undersized, one compliant, or two undersized.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Kind of an odd
Yeah.
shape there, too.
I'm just looking at the path of least resistance for him and people in the future too.
It's a very interesting question when you start talking about that, because you start talking, do you
Yeah, so-
re-separate it the way it used to be and make that empty space an empty lot? Now you've got a much smaller lot with two houses on it. Do you try to take a line from Hickory and split the
Right,
two
right.
but that's all theoretical and not,
Okay,
we're not at that point yet,
okay,
if ever.
All right.
thank you.
Any additional at this one?
Nope, I have nothing further for Mr. Risberg at this time. Nothing further for Mr. Keelblock at this time.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Zelik, real quick.
Good.
The setback for the addition, what would that, can we just quantify that? Because I know that's one of the
So
developers you
it
were seeing.
is, I'm just gonna take it off Ms. Leahy's.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. I should-
19,
I don't know if this is
19.19.
Gotcha.
and 50 is required, so.
Okay, so you're increasing a setback.
But only vertically.
Right, I
Not getting
understand.
any closer, we're just going up.
Right, but it's still
Right. Yep.
increasing the amount of wall space there, yeah.
Yep.
Can I actually have a question? So for Mr. Zally, which is, so there are a number of existing nonconformities, you know, with the shed placement and the garage placement in terms of the, and it's in my letter, that we noted them as an existing nonconformities. But would you like to sort of wrap those into this application now to,
Right.
to get relief, you know, all at once? So it's all kind of,
I would be very happy if the board would consider putting in kind of a catch-all in the resolution that any existing nonconformities are ratified, confirmed, whatever you might want to, however Chris might want to phrase it.
Yeah, because your shed, your tool shed, or whatever that used to be, is a little closer than it should be too.
Yep.
yeah, the garage, the shed,
Right.
the cottage, and also I think the garage and the ranch are too close together, I think. Actually, I'm not sure.
They are so close to one another, it would have to be true.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I think that, if nothing else, just as a matter of housekeeping, I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Sure.
I'm gonna,
I will go over some planning arguments.
Yeah, go ahead.
At some point, but let me know when you're.
Well, no, go now.
Am I
Do it
doing
now.
it? Okay. So essentially, we're looking at a D1 and a C, arguably a C1 for the setback. So just to go over it briefly, under a D1, the standard has generally been defined in relation of the purposes of zoning and particularly the general welfare purpose A. This is under Mtg versus BPR 107 NJ1, 1987. And as you're familiar with, the standard announced in Medici or Medici, depending on how it's pronounced, everybody has a different opinion on that. It's the subject property, whether it's particularly suitable for the proposed use. The Supreme Court, some years later, clarified that demonstrating that a property is particularly suitable for use does not require proof that there is no other potential location for the use, nor does it demand evidence that the property must be built in a particular location. Rather, it's an inquiry into whether the property is particularly suited for the proposed purpose, in the sense that it is especially well suited for the use, in spite of the fact that the use is not permitted in the zone. That's Price versus Himeju, 214 NJ 263, 2013. In this case, the fact that the subject property has functioned peacefully with one or both of the dwellings rented out for many decades demonstrates its particular suitability for this use. Furthermore, in addition to general welfare purpose of the MLUL, this use satisfies some other purposes, including Purpose E, which is to promote the establishment of appropriate population densities and concentrations that will contribute to the well-being of persons, neighborhoods, communities, regions, and preservation of the environment, in this case, by providing an affordable rental unit or possibly 2, because even if expanded, we're still going to be looking at a 3-bedroom home, which is obviously on the smaller end by today's standards. This could provide housing for senior citizens, young persons with limited financial needs, who may not be in need of a large home but do not wish to reside in an apartment or some kind of shared space. Also, Purpose G, to provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for a variety of agricultural, residential, recreational, commercial, industrial uses and open space, both public and private, according to their respective environmental requirements in order to meet the needs of all citizens, and again, for the same purposes, to provide an alternative housing opportunity for those who are not looking for a large home, might not be able to afford it. Purpose J as well, to promote conservation of historic sites and districts, open space, energy resources, and valuable natural resources in the state, and to prevent urban sprawl and degradation of environment through improper use of land, in this case, by preserving a site that has been part of the historic hamlet of Myersville for decades, literally. The expansion and renovation of the cottage, and this really goes to the C variance, will also assist in conserving property values in the neighborhood, which remains a purpose of land use regulation, even though not expressly stated in the MLUL, and that's under Home Builders League of Jersey versus Township of Berlin, 81 NJ 127, 1979. Negative criterion are also satisfied, as both the D and C variances can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without substantially impairing the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance. As to the D1 variance, again, the proposed uses existed for decades without any detriment. And as to the C variance for the vertical exacerbation, the expansion of the cottage is within the existing footprint of the home and is facing the open portion of the lot primarily, extremely well distanced from the neighboring home and lessening any potential impact that the proposed expansion would have upon the neighbor. So we don't believe there's really any negative issues at all, any detriment, therefore the negative criterion is satisfied as well. And for those purposes and reasons, we believe that this relief, both a D1 and a C1, we'd argue it a C1 since you've got the hardship of the fact that the house is where it is and has to be located in that same location. So for those reasons, we would ask for the D1 to be granted and the C1 to be granted. And again, D1 for 2 dwellings, for ability to have rental use, and for the 3rd bedroom.
And any variances regarding the other buildings.
And so we'll call them the housekeeping variances for the existing nonconformities that are all identified.
Side yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. Thank you for
Also
hearing us.
wanna
We
note
appreciate your.
That there is no public that came in the meantime, so closing it to the public.
Thank you.
Okay.
And since we still do only have 5, I would like to hear comments before.
Yeah, I'm
deciding
gonna have
that.
deliberation.
Right.
I have one more question
Yes,
to
go
the
ahead.
applicant, or the attorney. You did mention the word affordable, so thank you for reminding me of a question I had earlier, and it slipped my mind. Does it constitute affordable housing, the rental unit?
I will
Is it
defer to
coming
Ms.
into
Laney
moderate or
because I have
something?
deliberately not been an affordable housing attorney.
It would only so far as the owner wishes to deed restrict it for a period of 40 years to a low
many
and
years?
moderate income, 40.
40.
For the record, you don't want to do that, right? Say no. Good.
So, no, I mean, no.
It wouldn't
Even
be
if
officially.
it wouldn't be able to address the township's obligation, even if it might in effect be providing an affordable housing
Even
unit.
for 1 unit, we couldn't get 1 unit.
Not if it doesn't kind of check all those boxes.
Okay. We should have some kind of instructional on that, probably, so we know what we're doing when we have these opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what it does, though, is it would provide
Sorry.
1, possibly 2 units that are available for people that are affordable, despite
Right.
not being
Understood.
affordable
I
housing in the
understand that
technical
part.
term,
Yes, I do understand that.
but providing opportunities.
You're fulfilling the spirit of affordable housing,
Right,
if
without
not,
the technicality.
yeah.
Right.
It's the technicality.
Yeah, it's the technicalities. Okay. Randall, would you like to start the deliberation?
Sure. I really appreciate everyone's presentation today and kind of the history lesson about the project or about the property. Mr. Keelblock, thank you for coming in and telling us your memories dating back quite some time. Not every day we get to see something from 1942 or 1954. So this was kind of interesting to me. I appreciate the efforts taken to kind of piece it all together the best everyone could. Look, it's been used that way for a very long time. I think Purpose J that you mentioned, Council, preserving the history of Myersville is pretty an interesting point and rather compelling, so I would be inclined to vote yes if we do end up voting. So,
Thank you.
thank you, everyone.
I'm of a similar mind. The property, according to the photographs and drive-by, is in nice shape. You've done a good job keeping that up. I thank you for that as a member of the town. And the reason for your application is, meets both the positive and the negative criteria, and I think that I would be voting yes.
Jerry?
I don't see any substantial detriment to the public good, so I think, or the zone plan or the ordinance, so I think you have satisfied the negative criteria. I'm reaching for the positive criteria, and yes, providing much-needed housing in New Jersey, I think we can get there, even if it's not a designated affordable unit. I think that it does, add to our housing supply in town, so I think I'd be in favor of it.
Alex?
I know the house well, know the area well, live up the street. It's got a lot of character, as everything does over in the Myersville area. It's very easy to find properties that are built in the 50s and 20s over there. All you got to do is walk around. But I'm appreciative of the additions that are being done and the improvements that are being done. The only concern that I would have is that as you do that, what I notice is that the other properties kind of have a different exterior. I don't know whether it's vinyl on those or the like, and if there's some way to kind of maintain some sort of consistency between all the buildings as you go forward with your expansion, I'd appreciate that. But I certainly would vote in favor of it. I think it's a definite positive for the area.
Mr. Zadrozny?
Zadrozny.
I know I was going to stumble. I tried.
Not a problem.
Just, I'm being a paranoid lawyer for the moment. You're not within 200 feet, though, right?
Not
Okay.
even close.
Thank you.
No. When he said down the street, he actually meant past
I'm
the
actually
circle.
up the street.
Yeah, up the street. He's
As long as it's not within
past the
200
circle. No, he knows better than that.
Yes.
I also feel that the property is well suited for this. It's been existed there for many ages. To the naked eye, it looks like two separate pieces of property. If you look at it from the street, it really doesn't even look like it's the same. It's not aesthetically, it's no aesthetic problem. I think making that house bigger on the top is more usable, makes it more functional. Right now, I mean, as Mr. Keelblock stated, people lived there in the past, but people in the past tended to be happy with a smaller house. Nowadays, you want a bigger bed. You want a bathroom upstairs. You don't want to have to go downstairs every time, especially at my age. But I think it is a positive. It has existed that way. It aesthetically looks fine. If your siding is one way on one house, just make sure that everything's consistent on that cottage. If you're gonna change it the whole house. If you're gonna leave it the same. So I would be in favor of it also.
Thank you.
So,
And unless my client has a different view, I'd say we can go ahead with the vote. You comfortable?
Agreed. Yeah.
Can I just summarize everything
Yes,
that's being
please. I was
sought
just
here?
gonna let you
Just
do
want to
that.
make sure we're all on the same
Yes.
page. Okay. First and foremost, D1 use variance. This is to permit 2 dwellings to be on the property, the rental use of one or both of the dwellings, and the expansion of the cottage house. That D1 covers all 3 of those. The first bulk variance for the front yard setback vertical exacerbation of the cottage house required to be 50 feet, proposing an existing addition of 19.19 feet. Also, variances for all the various existing nonconformities. Let me just go through Liz's memo just to make sure we're all on the same page with these. The minimum front yards, Hickory Tavern's good. The side yard, which is 19.5, where 10 is required. Minimum combined side yard, which is 19.5, where 67 feet would be required.
I think they're both 9, no? Am I reading it right?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, 9, I'm sorry, I'm reading it off my phone.
Chris, is that helpful to you?
Yeah. I'll let Mr. Zajosny borrow my memo, so I was reading off my phone.
For Alex.
Okay. Getting back to it. Okay, so just to go back to it, the minimum side yard combined, existing and proposed is 9.5 feet, where 67 is required. Minimum location of the detached garage from the principal structure, it's less than 10 feet. I think you said, what, it's like about a foot away?
Well, you can walk
Maybe
between us.
16 inches.
Yeah.
16 inches.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let's say 12 inches just to be safe. 10 feet's required there, 12 inches is proposed, I guess 1 foot. Minimum side and rear yard, of the same for the detached garage, 7.07 feet on the side, greater than 10 feet on the rear. So it's just on the side that's where the nonconformity exists. Shed is the garage is of a compliant height, right? It's less than 20 feet?
Yes.
Okay. Then the shed, the chicken coop, quote unquote, the side yard setback for that, which is 7.34 feet where 10 is required. It's okay on the rear. And then, how big is the shed? Or, I'm sorry, the chicken coop shed, whatever you want to call it, square footage wise? Is it less than 100 square feet?
Oh, I would say probably
Yeah, I
more.
would say so. Right.
I'd say so.
What would you approximate length by width?
Less than 100 square feet.
It's more
10
than
by
That would be a 10 by 10. so
No,
it's
I'm
bigger
aware of
than
that. To be honest, it's slightly larger than that.
What is it, 10 by 20, 10 by 30? What would you say?
Maybe 10 by 15.
10 by 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 150 square feet?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so you
bigger
need
than 10
variance
by
for
10.
that.
Okay. Got it. And that is it as far as the non-conforming conditions go that we're seeking relief for. As far as conditions, I didn't note anything in Liz's memo. Joe didn't even submit a memo. I guess the only thing that could conceivably be considered a stipulation on the part of the applicant would be that the siding of the addition would match, or they'd re-side the entire building. And I think that's it. So if I'm leaving something out, somebody let me know.
Is that satisfactory?
That's my recollection as
good?
well, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Do my best to
I'll make a motion then to approve as written by our attorney, if that's okay.
Thank you, Jerry. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rodeo,
Yes.
Mr. Watts,
Yes.
Mr. Zadrowski,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf,
Yes.
Chairman Grant.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you all very much. Have
Good
a
luck with
wonderful
it.
evening.
Good luck. Sure.
Congratulations.
Good luck moving up to the big house.
Yeah, right.
And good luck with everything.
Moving on up to the big
Luck
one.
with
Yeah.
handwriting.
Oh, yeah.
How, I don't know.
They were all going to raise
It's nice that you have a place to stay while you're doing that.
Oh, I know.
Perfect.
Do we have any other business? I'm just curious.
I think that's it.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah,
Any housekeeping?
Deborah, just tell us what's coming next, so everyone knows.
Annual report.
Okay, so we hope everybody can make it for that, because we like everybody's input on those things. So that's the
2 weeks
second,
from tonight is annual report.
that's it?
So, yes. that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
We really need to, we've got like 3 years to review, so.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, June 3rd, I have another engagement, so you're gonna be the chief. All right? All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Oh, you got it.
Okay, second?
Second.
On favor? All right,
Aye.
we're adjourned.